I'm Rajbir Singh. Good morning to everybody. And I hope that we all are happy. We all have come here with a free choice and free will. So I would like to give you a small couplet. दिनेश इसको कर ले यार, वो कर लेगा जल्दी। हाँ, okay, it's okay, fine. वो करता है। Okay, I think it's what Professor Mukundan was saying. Ultimately, even if it goes in our brain, it is a decided act that what really we want to do, and the positive psychology deals all about that it should be a decided choice of ours, that what should be our behavior, what should be our conduct, and how we are going to have impact on ourselves as well as on others. I hope that some of the basics you might have gone through, because the conference is going on for the 2 days, and majority of the audience might be one of the witness to all this. But yes, this is very important, that what is new to it. I think Professor Nathawat can be a good idea to substantiate what this, because there is another way of studying positive psychology by way of paragons and prodigies. Professor Jitendra Mohan, when presented his address on positive psychology in March at MD University Rohtak, he preferred to follow that model, that if you want to understand positive psychology, it is better to go through those persons who have made positive contributions. And right from he has taken various examples from all walks of life, including Charles Darwin. He talked about Leonardo Vinci. He talked about the creator of the Edison and number of other persons. So, what is the positive psychology is? Is it simply what clinical psychology was yesterday and it is positive psychology today? But yes, there is quite parallel to these two things, and it is only a paradigm shift that many of the clinical psychologists have now shifted to this particular paradigm, and instead abandoning negatives and coming to the positives. So this is what the beginning of this movement is. We have here to focus upon 3 things: the virtues, the strengths, positive experiences, positive individual traits. All these things enable us and communities to flourish. This is what the beginning is. And it has been found that this field is based on this particular belief that we all wish to lead meaningful and fulfilling lives, and to cultivate what is best within ourselves and enhance our experiences of love, work and play. This is what the pioneers of positive psychology believe. We can say that if we club 3 things together: positive emotions, positive character traits, and enabling institutions, this is what constitutes positive psychology. Another key tenet of the positive psychology is sort of belief, it may be a sort of attitude, that if we can somehow develop a contentment with the past and somehow can achieve a happy state in the present and keep hopes for the future, this is what the positive attitude is, this is what the positive psychology is. All sort of good things have been included in positive psychology. Virtues like capacity for love and work, courage, compassion, resilience, creativity, curiosity, integrity, and wisdom. And also the positive institutions, which actually foster better communities in having such important features like justice, responsibility, civility, work ethics, leadership, teamwork, purpose, and tolerance. So the scope of positive psychology I want to emphasize is not simply the behavior of a person, but it goes much beyond that. Behavior of the groups, behavior of the communities, behavior of the organizations, and all that. So it's a kind of community approach, and more particularly, even if we say that the social approach rather than individual-centric and idiographic approach, positive psychology is more encompassing the groups, the communities, the people at large, and the masses. We can conceive the idea of the whole subject matter of the positive psychology at 3 levels, and I hope we have been through the core definitions of this. Virtues are those what have been valued by all the moral philosophers and religious thinkers, and that too they believe that invariant of time as well as invariant of the cultures, means across the globe since time immemorial, with the civilization, all these things have been considered and valued. These are, yes, universal. Now I have a point to stress that it is grounded in biology, because just now Professor Mukundan was saying that how our neural processes are actually tuned to all these features. But yes, I think that going lastly to the orbitofrontal cortex is more important, because that is the seat of the more values, the cultural features, the higher aspects of our personality, the social norms, and the virtues. I think that it will be better if we go through more intensive studies of orbitofrontal cortex. When we are involved in virtuous behavior, we will be able to get better neural substrates instead of going to the purely the emotional level at the subcortical levels or even at cingulate gyrus, because the paradigm believes that it is much higher, and accordingly you have also to go to the much higher at the brain level, and we will be finding the locus of all these things at the cortical level, the neocortical level particularly. So these things have been universal. It attests itself. These are found everywhere because these are grounded in biology. These are evolutionary, and since we are retaining, and therefore these are important, adaptive, and have been selected as fulfilling functions at individual and community level. Yes, but this is very one good assumption of positive psychology. We all are virtuous beings. This is a very good aspect. But in order to express a virtue, underlying virtue, it has to reach to a threshold value so that it can be considered coming through the character strength and would become the part of that particular virtue through which it would be finally expressed. These are some of the high 6 which have been selected, which have been found, that are found everywhere. I would not take much part because this is the core subject matter and must have been discussed in detail. But I would like to emphasize what is put here in parenthesis, that what this Roman number means. Why humanity has been assigned at number 1? Why justice has been assigned at number 1? Because it matters. It is the ubiquitousness of this particular thing or a particular virtue which in fact matters. How it has been actually valued, to what is the extent of its value, to what extent it has been pervasive, with which it has been expressed in a particular society at a particular time. And then the same hypothesis, the cultural and the time invariance hypothesis, I think it needs to be revisited in Indian context. If we go by time perspective, one of the important dimensions of existence, you will definitely agree that the whole sort of Vedic knowledge has emerged. So probably wisdom and knowledge were the core virtues in the Vedic period, And that is why perhaps we could able to collect that much important knowledge. In other times, so in other part of the world, there could be even bravery, which could find, let's go back to this. The courage and the bravery has been listed at the last one, because some of the cultures do not attest to that one, like Buddhistic culture. They do not talk of courage, they do not talk of bravery in that sense, or they do not value to that extent, or their meaning of bravery and courage may be different. However, humanity and justice have been quoted as the most important values because they have been finding important place throughout the history and throughout the globe. And yet we are attaining. But you know that what happens? What happens that the temperaments, we fail to protect ourselves against excesses. And when there is no justice in the society, yes, then there could be another kind of behavior from the community may come. So we in India have been peace-loving. We have been, though, giving more importance to the justice, but we were not also not giving that importance to the courage and bravery. So this is how I am saying that we should even visit in order to see the ubiquitousness even to the smaller parts of the community, smaller parts of the culture, in order to see that whether that particular virtue exists to that extent, to that importance, or not. This is how the correct stance have been assigned to various virtues. But what is important here that one virtue has so many subserving correct stance. This is the structural aspect. Even if you are curious, you may be assigned to a virtue of wisdom and knowledge. Even if you have been able to develop a perspective, of course, that is a very big thing. But enough. It's not necessary that one has to be literate. It is not necessary that one has to produce books or have to talk intellectually in various colloquia. Not that important. Even if a person, a very simple person in a village street has developed a perspective and a meaning in life, you say that yes, the person is wise. The person has a knowledge. Courage is accordingly, it's not simply that if you have a vigor and strength to handle and the physical prowess. No, not that. Even you can persist the challenges, you may be termed as the courageous. So this is what the issue of the assignment of the strength, the character strength is, that how actually even one or two character strengths would be enough to let you know that yes, you have that particular strength above the threshold, and it would be expressed, and even others would attest to that. This is another very important thing which has a very significant meaning. Everyone does not have all this. So these are 24 character strengths, but everyone must have a few. So, but together we all have everything. This is what the concept of positive psychology is, what we can harness and exploit in various applied areas of life. That if we are in an organization, we should select variety, as much variety as possible, because that would be helpful. Professor Srivastav is sitting with us as the co-speaker from that area. There are a lot of implications of positive psychology for this. But yes, how an individual will cope with the adversity, that is in focus in the positive psychology, and the individual adjustment and the overall well-being he is going to share with this particular area, that how we can actually fulfill as individuals in this society. Yeah, I have to. Yes, the strengths are in themselves very important. Even if you are honest, this is good. If you have a jest, itself it is satisfying. If you have one particular strength, the very possession of that strength is satisfying for the person, is helpful for the person. But yes, there may be so many outcomes of the character strengths. It will add to your happiness, it will give you the acceptance, it may give you the reverence, it may help you in competition, may develop efficacy and all that. So there are a number of tangible outcomes of that, that why we should go for the positive psychology for all these important things. So we all have, I said that we all have one or two, we call them signature strengths. What I feel that instead of coming to the model of the total model of the character strengths, taking 24 strengths and 6 virtues, we should follow this particular important thing, because the signature strengths have been found to be more important, more practical, which are actually owned by the person and have direct significance of the works in the life, the project people would select in their life, and the strength they will find, the energy they will find to working on such important projects and things which are directly linked to their the signature strengths. That is also having human resource implication for that thing. But yes, there are a lot of difficulties in expressing signature strengths. We have a different kind of culture, you know, that through the socialization we do not actually make our youngsters learn that how it is important, but most of the people actually would shun from owning the signature strengths. So what we think that we should help others that how to own the signature strengths and how to express, and the kind of the practice we can do that somehow through the programs we can help others, we can help people to realize their own signature strengths through the approval, and then utilize those signature strengths and the individuals in such projects where they can find meaning, where they will be more successful and all that. So there are so many things, but I think the time pressing is making me to close here only. Let me talk so many things. Coming to the finally, resilience is the main thing I want to emphasize, that our study should focus on resilience because that is directly relevant to these things. We have done some of the studies on the resilience and found in the patient groups in the health psychology area. I think the journal which has just issued and published by the Amity has also found some mention in that. We have communicated earlier. So these are the studies in the health area where we can found that some of the contributions can be made. Well, but it's not to say these are again some things. It's not necessary. I want to simply thank now. I'm really lucky to be here, to be a medium through whom positive psychology ideas pass here at Amity. Thanks, Professor S. S. Nathawat, CP turned PP, means clinical psychologist turned positive psychologist. And you know that the Amity is the best place to have positive psychology discussion, because the very term is positive, and it bringing togetherness, caring, sharing, friendship, all that. So this is very important. Thank you for giving me a patience hearing.